Let me tell you something. Right now, no matter how old you are, you already have the most powerful tool for building wealth: time. Seriously, the gap between being financially free and spending decades just getting by, it often comes down to a handful of choices you make before you even turn 18. Today, we're talking about creating future millionaires. I'm going to break down exactly what you should be doing at 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 if you want a financial head start. And hey, if you're older, use this as a checklist to see where you stand. If you just do a few of these things, you'll be way ahead of the crowd. No exaggeration. People won't believe it. I hit my first million in my 20s. If I'd gotten this advice earlier, I would have done it even faster. So don't just watch the part for your age. Soak up everything. Skipping steps is how you end up with regrets. I'm Michael, and this is Investor Voice. Let's get into it, starting with age 13. When it comes to investing, nothing beats time in the market. It's not complicated. The longer your money sits invested, the more it can grow. Think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's small, but keep it rolling, and it eventually turns into an avalanche. If you're actually 13 or younger, congrats, you're in the best spot you could possibly be. But how do you start investing at this age? Since you're not old enough to invest on your own, you'll need to talk a parent or guardian into opening a custodial account for you. I get it. Talking to parents about money isn't easy. My folks never brought it up, let alone investing. If it helps, show them the next 30 seconds of this video. I'll try to help convince them for you. A custodial account is an investment account an adult manages for a minor, usually a family member. The name changes depending on where you live. In the UK, it's called a Junior Stocks and Shares ISA. With that, your parent or guardian can put up to £9,000 a year into investments for you. They don't have to invest that much, but just imagine if you asked them to put birthday or Christmas money into your account each year, investing in stocks and shares instead of spending it all. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't take this as official advice. I'm just telling you what I've done. I put my money in a simple, low-cost S&P 500 index fund. That spreads your investment over 500 of the biggest public companies in the U.S., so you don't need to stress about picking individual stocks. Over the last 10 years, the S&P 500 averaged a yearly return of 12.58% as of May 2024. Of course, investments can go down, too. If you have a Junior Stocks and Shares ISA, you can start managing it yourself at 16 and withdraw money from 18 if you want. Honestly, though, once you see your investments grow, you'll probably want to keep it going. In the US, you've got two main options: a UGMA and a UTMA. Both let you put in as much as you want. But if your parent or guardian puts in more than $18,000 in 1 year, there's a gift tax. The only real difference is, with a UTMA, you can also invest in things like real estate and art. You can open a custodial account at most banks or brokerages. Personally, I like Vanguard for both the UK and USA. They've got low fees and a solid track record. So if you're under 18, do me a favor. Talk to your parents about getting one of these accounts. It's such a huge head start. All right, moving on to age 14. At 14, besides having time on your side, you probably don't have to worry about rent or bills yet. That gives you the freedom to experiment with ways to make money, since you're not relying on a steady paycheck. Try anything that interests you. Pressure washing driveways, getting into sports, whatever. And look, not everything you do at this age needs to make money. You learn a ton from all kinds of experiences, and a lot of those lessons pay off later. My son used to get up at 4 a.m. most mornings for swim practice. He didn't make a cent from that, but he did learn discipline, and when he started his own business at 18, he could outwork almost anyone. I talk to a lot of teenagers who insist they don't have any talent, but then, when I ask what hobbies they've tried, they usually draw a blank. They can't even name a couple of things they've given a shot. The truth is, you're never going to figure out what you're good at if you don't jump in and try a bunch of different stuff. If something doesn't click for you, no big deal. Move on, try another thing, and keep going. When you finally stumble onto something you're naturally good at, or just really enjoy getting better at, go all in. Make it your mission to get great at it. Let's talk about being 15. One thing I genuinely miss from when I was younger is getting presents for my birthday or Christmas. I didn't get loads, my parents didn't have much money, but it was still more than I get now. That's just part of growing up, especially for young guys. So here's a tip. Instead of asking for gifts like PS4 games or random stuff you'll forget about in a few months, start asking for cash whenever you can. I'd also say, it's a great idea to get a Saturday job. Don't be fussy about where you work right now. Even working at a shop or behind a counter gets you some extra cash and teaches you social skills you're going to need later on. If you do both, asking for cash and picking up a part-time job, you'll actually start to build up some savings as long as you don't blow it all right away. I like saying stash instead of save because, honestly, the way most teenagers save is to pile up money for a few months, then spend it all at once on something like a new console or a day at a theme park. Yeah, roller coasters are fun. No one's saying you can't enjoy yourself sometimes, but that's not really what you want your stash for. Have some fun, sure, but start thinking of your stash as a launch pad. Even just having $100 set aside gives you a head start. Starting from zero is rough, so avoid that if you can. Oh, and don't forget, go apply for your provisional driving license. In the UK, you can do this when you're 15 and 9 months old. Even if you're not planning to drive right away, it's good to have it ready. Now things pick up, age 16. You've got a 2-year window before you really step out into the world. Now's the time to figure out what skills you want to focus on and get better at. If you followed the advice so far, you probably have a decent idea of what you're good at and what you enjoy. Maybe it all feels a bit random, but pick a few skills and start stacking them together. When I was younger, I was into selling, building mechanical stuff, and woodwork. So I put my money into things that helped me get better at those. I didn't know how any of it would fit together, but I figured it out as I went. I'm not talking about buying loads of online courses. There are way too many fake gurus out there trying to take your money. Sure, some courses are actually good, and joining a community where you can talk and learn is even better. But really, most of your money should go into equipment. I remember when my son bought his first iMac for $500 from his uncle. He used the money he'd saved from his part-time jobs. It was a big deal for him, his biggest purchase ever at that point. Because of that, he spent loads of time at that computer, learning everything he could. He taught himself to edit videos, use Photoshop, the whole lot. Buying tools like that opens doors. Between now and 18, your main goal should be to build up these skills so you can use them to make more money than the guy who just spent all his time gaming. That way, when you step into the real world, you actually have something to offer. Companies notice this. It means they have to spend less time and money training you, which they love. Let's jump to age 17. Listen up. You need to pass your driving test, seriously. You might not think you need to drive at 17, but trust me, the sooner you get it done, the better. In some parts of the US, you can do this at 16. And the best part? You only ever have to pass the test once. Not being able to drive is honestly one of the biggest things that stops people from starting a side hustle. Imagine a client wants to work with you, but they live 30 minutes away, and you can't get a ride every week. Then you're stuck with unreliable buses or trains. You start showing up late or missing meetings, and before you know it, people think you're unprofessional. That opportunity disappears. Here's a rule I still swear by. If you're early, you're actually on time. If you're just on time, you're late. And being late? Forget it. That's just not okay. So if you're here thinking about driving lessons, just go for it. You don't want to be the person kicking yourself for putting it off. Sure, the idea can feel a little scary. I actually found it kind of thrilling. But honestly, it's about the bigger picture. Once you've learned, you can finally dip into your savings and grab a cheap starter car. Suddenly, there's nothing stopping you. Now let's talk about a milestone. Turning 18. At 18, things really change. You're officially an adult, and you've got a ton of opportunities to get your finances in order. Looking back, I wish someone had sat me down on my 18th birthday and just spelled it all out. So that's what I'm going to do for you right now. I've put together a list. 7 things you should do to set yourself up for success. And hey, even if you're already past 18, it's still worth getting these sorted as soon as you can. Let me know in the comments how many you've already done. First up, open your own bank accounts. If you haven't already, get yourself some bank accounts that only you can access. And yes, I mean accounts, plural. You really want 2. The first one's a current account, or a checking account if you're in the States. This is where your money comes in and goes out. Say you've got a part-time job at a coffee shop. They'll pay you straight into this account, and you can spend from there. The second account should be a high-interest savings account. Start building an emergency fund, enough to cover 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. Life can throw curveballs, and if your income suddenly stops, you'll be glad you have it. Think of it like chugging a big shield potion in Fortnite, but saving a few minis for later. Where should you set these up? Go for banks that don't hit you with random fees. I remember getting charged for the silliest things, and it adds up. These accounts are supposed to help you, not cost you. I also suggest picking different banks for each account. It makes it less tempting to dip into your savings, out of sight, out of mind. If you're in the UK, check out challenger banks like Monzo for your current account. Not an ad, I just really like their app. For savings, Chase is solid. They're offering 4.1% interest right now, so your money actually works for you. In the US, Ally Bank and Bank of America are both good options. They keep fees low and their online banking is easy to use. Second, get a credit card. When I was younger, I thought never borrowing money would give me a perfect credit score. I mean, if you don't take out loans or miss payments, you're golden, right? Turns out, that's not how it works. Getting a credit card at 18 is actually one of the best ways to build your credit score. Just use it for regular expenses, like filling up your car, and pay it off in full every month. No exceptions. If you do that, you'll avoid interest and start building a solid credit history at the same time. Your credit score is kind of like your Uber rating, but for money. Lenders look at it to decide if they'll give you a loan and what interest rate you'll get. A lot of people are scared of credit cards because we grow up hearing that debt is bad. I get it. My dad used to say, neither a lender nor a borrower be. But here's the thing. That old advice mostly came from people who wanted to keep others from building wealth. The truth is, smart borrowing can help you get ahead. If I'd started with a credit card at 18, I could have gotten a mortgage sooner and bought my first place, probably with a better rate. Over the years, that would have saved me a lot of money. Third, Open an investment account. The trick is to open the right kind of account. You'll hear terms like Roth IRA in the US, Stocks and Shares ISA, UK, TFSA, Canada, or Super, Australia, thrown around a lot. If you don't have one, you're honestly missing out. These accounts let you invest without paying taxes on your gains, which is huge. Of course, they have their limits. Otherwise, everyone would just funnel all their money in and never pay tax again. These days, it's ridiculously easy to open an investing account. You can do it on your phone in a few minutes. What's even better? Most apps now let you buy fractional shares. So instead of scraping together $220 to buy a single Apple share, you can toss in $1 and still get a piece. I wish this had been around when I started out. It would have let me dip my toes in, get some real experience, and not stress about losing a chunk of cash. Personally, I really like Trading 212. They do fractional shares, and they've got Stocks and Shares ISAs too. Since I was planning to talk about them anyway, I reached out to see if they'd sponsor this bit of the video, and they did. If you use the code ROBBER when you sign up, they'll give you a free stock worth up to £100. Plus, invite your friends and both of you get a free share when they fund their account. Not a bad deal. If you're not quite ready to dive in for real, Trading 212 has a practice mode. You can mess around with fake money, watch the real markets, and try out your strategies without risking anything. It's perfect if you're nervous or just want to get a feel for things before you put your own cash on the line. And don't worry if you opened an account in the last 10 days. You can still use the promo code ROBBER and get your free share. So feel free to pause this, grab your free stock, then come back. Number 4. Really think about university. I get this question from teenagers all the time. Is university a scam? My answer? Yes and no. For some careers, doctors, nurses, teachers, you need that degree. You finish the course, and a clear path opens up. These jobs are essential, and honestly, I think we should make these programs free for people who have the grades and the passion. But there are plenty of degrees out there that don't lead anywhere specific. Why waste your money and, more importantly, your time on something you don't need? Trades like plumbing, tech, or starting your own business, they don't care about your degree. It's about skill, hustle, and results. I see it all the time in my comments. People saying they learned more here than in their business degrees. That says a lot. For me, and for a lot of employers, it's all about what you can actually do and how you approach things. So don't let anyone pressure you into university just for the sake of it. 4 years is a long time to waste on a subject you don't care about. I heard there's even a golf management degree now. I mean, come on. I love golf, but no university course taught me how to play or manage it. It's just silly. If you're unsure what to do next, look into apprenticeships. They were massive back in my day, and they're making a real comeback. You get paid while you learn, a total win. So when your school or your friends try to push you toward university, pause and think. Do you really want to be stuck with 60 or 100 grand in debt for something you might not even use? Is that worth it? Number 5. Steer clear of bad debt. Debt can feel like an anchor around your neck. It slows you down and keeps you from getting where you want to go. Now, not all debt is evil. Used right, it can help you, like when you get a mortgage to buy a house. Property usually goes up in value over time, so you're using borrowed money to build your future wealth. That's smart debt. But the rest? Watch out. It'll just weigh you down. Running your own business works the same way. If you borrow money to get started and things go well, the profits can be huge. Honestly, without that initial cash, you might not get anywhere. I saw that firsthand when I opened my first radio control model shop. No loan, no shop. It's that simple. But not all debt is created equal. There's one kind you've really got to steer clear of: consumer debt. If you can't pay for something outright and it's not going to make you any wealth, skip it. Take cars, for example. Tons of people here in the UK finance their cars, about 2.2 million drivers, in fact, and most of them, I'd guess, are just digging themselves into a financial hole. I get the appeal. I love cars too, so I understand the temptation. But is it really worth it? Just something to think about. Let's move on. Number 6. Start a side hustle. You know how everyone tells you when you turn 18, go out and get a job, like that's just what you're supposed to do, whether you like it or not. It sounds miserable, honestly, like you've got no say in your own life. But it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to wake up every day feeling stuck or like you're not getting anywhere. If you've picked up some useful skills, and if you've been following along so far, you probably have, you can use them to launch a service-based side hustle. These are great. Think copywriting, video editing, web design, videography, community management. Most don't need a ton of money to start. You just need to really know your stuff. If you haven't picked up a high-income skill yet, you're falling behind. So, whatever job you have, make the most of it. Use the skills you learn and the money you earn to build something bigger. Even if your job doesn't teach you much, let it motivate you. Put in some extra work on the weekends, pick up a new skill, and change your situation. Try looking at every boring shift as an investment in your future. Number 7. Invest for the long haul. Compound interest is a total game changer, especially for investing. Not only do you earn interest on what you put in, but you also earn interest on the interest you've already made. Your money just keeps snowballing, kind of like rolling a snowball down a hill. It picks up more and more as it goes. Let's say you start investing $250 a month at 18, putting it into a Roth IRA or a stocks and shares ISA. If you get an average return of 8% a year, by the time you're 65, you could have about $1.5 million tax-free. But if you wait until you're 28 to start and invest the same amount, you end up with only around $679,000 by 65. That's less than half. Those 10 extra years make a massive difference because your money has more time to grow. So the sooner you start, the better. Plus, when you're younger, you usually earn less, which means you're in a lower tax bracket. You get to keep more of your money instead of handing it over to the taxman. If you want to know how to pick the best stocks, I've got a whole video on that. Just don't click away yet. Make sure you subscribe if you're serious about growing your wealth. See you over there. Thanks for sticking around for this deep dive on Investor Voice. If this video gave you a clear plan for your financial future, hit that like button. It really helps the channel and lets us know you're into practical, real-world advice. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another deep dive. There's a lot more coming about building wealth, learning new skills, and making smart choices with your money. Now, I want to hear from you. How old are you, and which step are you jumping into first? Drop your thoughts and questions in the comments. I read them all. And hey, share this video with a younger sibling, cousin, or anyone who needs a little push in the right direction. You could be the reason they start their journey to financial freedom. That's it for today. I'm Michael, and this is Investor Voice. Stay curious, stay disciplined, and remember, the best time to start was yesterday. The next best is right now. See you in the next one.